The prompt we were given was, it gets better. And I can say, it totally does. It gets way easier, it gets much, much more interesting, and it gets to be way more fun. I mean, you learn so much about yourself and your peers. It becomes an exercise of your strength, and it feels fantastic. But before I get into that, I have to tell you my first day. I walked in, I filled out this slip of paper, gauging how confident I am, and I did one below perfectly confident because I don't want to look too confident. So walk out of class, and the next thing I know, I'm doing my diagnostic speech, my first speech, and I walk up to give my presentation, and you know what? Even before that, like a week before that, I was freaking out and losing it. Just every time I thought about it, I couldn't sleep. It was terrifying. That's not me. I've given plenty of speeches before, not necessarily graded, but it just didn't feel right, and I was just losing it. I was doubting myself. I was questioning, should I drop this class? Should I get out of this? Should I run? And I stuck with it. Thankfully, I did, because every speech got a little bit easier. I started learning a little bit more about myself. I started learning about my peers, what they did, and what worked for them, and realizing not everything works for everyone. And you know, before I knew it, I was exercising my strengths. I was finding out what worked best for me, and it was fantastic. You find your passion, and that's to me the most important part. Is through this whole thing, I forged a new perspective on myself, and I realized my own strengths. And I realized what works for me. I'm not necessarily a funny guy in front of a bunch of people. I just say exactly what I feel in my heart, and I say what I feel. And that might not necessarily be humorous, but it's just what comes from me. And that's, in my opinion, one of the best parts about public speaking. It's this raw essence of who you are. And I think that's fantastic. And that being said, all I can say is it gets better, it gets amazing, it gets fantastic. And if you're about to take this class, don't ever doubt it. Ever. And don't ever doubt yourself, because you will pull through and you will be the best you can be. Because we are all fantastic in our own ways. And that's the best part and most beautiful part about this whole thing, is that we all have our own strengths, our own flavors, our own weaknesses, and it really shows when you're in front of people. It's you. It's totally you, and that's what's fantastic. So, believe in yourself, believe in others, and don't walk away from this, because I promise it gets better. Thanks.